Did your favorite training partner bail on open mat again? Is your younger sibling not available to beat up on? Do you really want to improve your jiu-jitsu game but don't have a grappling dummy to practice on? Well, today's video is for you. Here are 5 fundamental warm-ups that you can use whether you're at home, school, or an open mat to improve your jiu-jitsu. My name is Ron Williams, and I'll see you after the break.
Yes, just like the actor.
The first warm-up will be the bridge escape drill. This is an excellent drill to practice if you're struggling with your mount escapes.
So I would like for you to visualize a table with 4 legs. They're all equal. This is a very solid surface. So our goal on the bottom is to try to destabilize that surface so we can imagine our opponent on top of that table or being that table. We, in this analogy, are the ground, and we are trying to purposely destabilize our opponents so we can get them over easier. When I'm doing my bridge, rather than just going up, so I have this stable surface that my opponent can sit on, that table, what I'm going to do is chop out the legs. One leg here, one leg here. Rather than lifting my hips all the way up in the air, just straight up, I'm actually going to do a slight curl, like this. In order to really overemphasize this movement for this particular warm-up, what I'm going to do is reach as far over my left shoulder, in this case, as I possibly can with my opposite hand. And then I'll reset back down. When I do it on the other side, again, I raise my hips up and I start to turn, and I touch as far over my right shoulder, in this particular case, as I can with my opposite hand. I'll do this back and forth, back and forth. Again, I'm trying to destabilize the table by cutting off both legs. So rather than making it just slightly uncomfortable for my opponent by just going straight up, I'm going to be at an angle. So you can do that drill. I'd suggest doing it about 10 times or so. And again, really overemphasize back and forth with that nice angle. And you'll find over time, it'll be just a little bit harder for your opponents to start to stay on top of you when you're bottom out. The next really awesome warm-up that I like to do is our butterfly hook movement. I'll let you know this looks absolutely ridiculous. I affectionately refer to it as the mating call of my people. From here, all I'm going to do is simulate a butterfly sweep by leaning, in this case, my right. It'll be your left. And I'll rotate through like so. I'm just going to be leaning up on my shoulder and my neck here. At the apex of this movement, I'm going to kick out with my shin and rotate back. I can do that in the same orientation in the other direction, leaning through, up on the shoulder, up on the head, kicking through with my butterfly hook. I can do that back and forth. Again, about 10 times total, 5 times on each side. It's really a good idea. And so let's talk about a little bit of troubleshooting real quick. So it's important to keep in mind the purpose of this particular movement is to strengthen up your butterfly sweeps. And as a result of that, I want you to visualize your opponent giving you resistance, and you're trying to power through as much as you can. And then once we get to this apex movement here, we kick them with our instep and our shin past the point of no return. That way we can continue through and come on top if we like. So we just go back and forth, back and forth. Again, boom. Trying to get through and get that kick at the top of the movement. Second piece of troubleshooting that I want to stress to y'all is rather than pulling straight back and pulling our opponent on top of us in a butterfly guard position, why in the world would I make it easy for them to get on top of me and get past my guard? What I want to do is rather than get in this position where I'm also structurally weak, I can't really easily get him over one way or the other, I'm just going to keep my back straight here. I'm going to lean to the side like this and lean to the side like this. I'm not slouching with my back, and I'm not pulling backwards. Our next warm-up is going to be a very important movement that you're going to need to bridge the transition between BJJ to MMA. It's also a really good thing to understand if you get in an altercation on the street. The reason being is, yep, jiu-jitsu is all nice and fine out here on the mats, but there may be a situation where you decide to bail and get out of Dodge. So we need to know how to do that safely. So rather than just trying to get up and then maybe it ends up working out for us, maybe we end up getting ambushed. what we're going to do is we get in this nice butt turret position like so. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to post with my hand back here. It doesn't matter which side, but for the purposes of this, I'm going to pick my right side. From here, I'm going to pop my knee on the same side, posting up, so I'm kneeling, and then I'm going to swivel this through here. If you want, you can hang out here for just a second to get your wits about you, because, again, the context of this is your adrenaline's going, maybe you're in an MMA situation, or maybe you're out fighting on the street, and, maybe you try to get up and, the blood starts trying to rush out of your brain. So if you take this just half second here to get yourself situated, you can. You can also just come straight out if you like. I'll leave it up to you. Okay, if I stay in this position, I'm just going to keep my hands up ready to go just in case my opponent is going to try to hit me in an MMA context. And then I'm going to back up and be ready to strike or re-engage with a wrestling. And again, it doesn't matter which side. So in this particular case, I'll do the left hand. So again, I just decide to post back. I have my other hand up to block any strikes coming in. I post up the same side knee, swivel this through, get my hands up ready to block any strikes. I can come up and move. The next really good warm-up that you can do is your front roll. Now, I'll be honest with you. I was doing jiu-jitsu for a long time before it ever started to click with me why in the world we would be practicing front rolls in a jiu-jitsu class. I mean, when in the world are we just going to be going over head over heels like that? Other than falling in love with one of your training partners or something. But at any rate, I realize that there are certain situations where we need to very quickly bridge the distance in between ourselves and our opponent. So let's say a scramble happens and I need to get from here all the way there. Rather than trying to get all the way up and running and then get back down towards the ground, what I can do is roll immediately over. When you're doing this, be careful not to go over your neck. It's a very common misconception that you're trying to put any pressure on your neck here. That's really bad for your cervical spine. So what I'm doing, first and foremost, is I'm starting to kneel like so, and then I'm just going to pick a side, and I'm going to roll my shoulder over. And what I like to do, the first way I learned this when I did Taekwondo back in the day, is I just think about bringing my hand through like I'm diving, and I'm going to go over my arm, my shoulder. I can tuck my ear into my deltoid. I'm just going to roll over that and then bring my legs all the way through. So slowly, it should look like this. Again, I'm in here. I decide I'm going to rotate over my right. I go here. I can step over. Boom. The last thing that hits, if it has to, is the back of my neck down here, but I try my best to avoid that. But at any rate, those are a couple different ways that you can do this. The next part of our warm-ups is going to be the backward roll. So again, where in the world are you going to use this when you're doing jiu-jitsu, right? Well, maybe there's a situation where I'm down and I had my opponent in guard and they were able to break my guard and they decide to disengage very quickly. And I'm worried that I can't properly technical stand for whatever reason. Just like I showed you in the previous portion, how quickly I can cover distance with the front roll. I can do the same in reverse. So it'll look like this. So just like with our front roll, I want to really emphasize the fact that we are not trying to go over our neck when we're doing this. We're trying to take the brunt of this movement over our arm, over our shoulder, and the last thing that hits, if it has to, is this nice portion of the back of my neck because I'm curling with my ear into the side. When I'm in this position, just for the purposes of this drill, we can start here if you like, or I can start here. I mean, it's up to you. I'm just going to pick a side that I want to roll to. In this particular case, I'm going to turn my head to my left. Okay? And rotate through, up and over. And you notice how when I rolled over, my ear was glued to the side of my deltoid, just like the last movement, and I rolled over my shoulder like so. Okay? Now, if you want to really emphasize the ability to transition into a standing position from this, what you can do is just tack onto the end, coming up, and your good wrestling stance.
With all that said, my name is Ron Williams. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you on the mats.
So should I call